Hello Flosstube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jen and this is my fiber web where we talk about cross stitch. I also share knitting and crochet and some other things if I've worked on them. But today is just going to be a cross stitch whip update basically. If you did not catch my last couple of videos, I am still working on getting back in the swing of things after taking a bit of a break from Flosstube for a few months. So about 2 weeks ago, I posted my first update in quite a while. And then earlier this week, I did a Flosstube extra with a bunch of projects that I fully finished. So one day this past week, I just got the urge to start framing some things, and I don't get that urge very often. So when I do, I have to run with it. And I ended up framing 15 or 16 things in about a day. So if you missed that video, I will try to remember to pop a link up in the corner so you can go, I don't know which corner it is, one of these corners, so you can go watch that if you would like. And if you did catch my update 2 weeks ago, I had floated the idea of maybe putting all of my summer themed projects onto a wheel so I could see how many of them I could work on before I get into the mood for autumn stitching. And I did end up doing that. So a bunch of what you're going to see today, I will have before photos from my previous video so you can see the progress I made, because I have worked on a bunch of those summer themed projects over the last couple weeks. Okay, so before I get started on that, I also said in my last video that I was not going to attend the online like virtual retreat Midsummer Stitch, but then I posted my video and then immediately bought a ticket. So I did hop on for a little bit Saturday and Sunday. So thanks to those of you who were also there, who I got to chat with and share with a little bit. What else? Oh, I was also struck with the inspiration recently to design another little pattern. It is a freebie available on my Ko-Fi shop, and I'll show it to you later. I haven't stitched it yet, but I think I'm going to start it in the middle of this month. So I wanted to give you some time. If you would like to join me, you can grab the pattern and stitch it with me. So I will show you that later. Okay, so let's get started with my stitching. So the first thing that I worked on after I filmed was Mini Bouquet Booklet by Jeanette Douglas. This project I think I started in 2022, and it was a monthly release of little pin cushions that there was also a chart to put them all together in one piece. And that is how I decided to do it. And I've been trying ever since that year to get this finished. So I ended up just keeping this out after the video, and I decided to get those borders done. So hopefully you're seeing a before picture. I brought the outer border down and around, and then that third border between rows 3 and 4 of the bouquets is new. And I don't remember if the middle one was already done yet or not, but the borders are all in, and today is August 1st, so it is time to put in the next bouquet, which has tomatoes. So this is staying out. I'm going to get those stitched. So that was my first whip. This is on, oh, I didn't say. This is on a 40 count vintage country mocha, and I am stitching it 1/2 with my own DMCs. I did not have a full set at that time. I did not have hardly any overdyed threads, so I did my best with what I had. So yeah, it's like close match DMC. Okay, and then after getting that border done, I was still feeling like I wanted to work on full coverage. So in my last video, I shared I made a ton of progress on an unconventional cross stitch chart that I have called Absorbing the Earth and Sky. So I had got that one over 30% done. So I did not get that back out, even though I kind of wanted to. I decided to get out a different one. This is a Heaven and Earth Designs chart. The artwork is by Jenna Maldonado, I think. And it's called Someplace for Me. This one is 1/1 full cross on 25 count, I believe. And here's where I'm at. So this one is not obviously super far. And this is also the largest full coverage that I have started. I don't remember the total stitch count for this, But anyway, I decided I wanted to try and get it closer to a diagonal. So this piece already, I've gone back and forth from parking to working all the parked threads in and sort of traveling. And now I kind of want to get it on the diagonal. So the way that I was working on my unconventional X stitch and the way I would like to work on this one is I do a 20 stitch diagonal in Pattern Keeper. And then I kind of do like, I think it's called the typewriter method, where I pick like the next color that's not done in my diagonal, and I do as many stitches as I can, kind of cross country within the diagonal, and then I will park it somewhere outside of there. However, if there's like only a couple of stitches left, or if the thread is almost done, I will just keep going, even if I'm not in the diagonal anymore. So I'm not super strict about the diagonal thing, but I do like to get, like the way I choose my next color is from the diagonal until the diagonal's full, if that makes sense. Also, I was considering maybe doing a stitch with me with full coverage to just sort of talk more about how I do it. If anyone would be interested in that, let me know. I've never done a stitch with me style video before, but I think it could be fun. So let me know what you think about that. Okay. I also wanted to mention about that piece, one of the reasons that I haven't been working on it very consistently is that I was trying to do it from my master set of DMC, which is actually super annoying because you have to like obviously go find the color, and then in my master set I have my DMC cut to like 1 yard lengths, and when I'm stitching 1/1 on a 25 count, like I want a shorter strand, so I have to cut it every time. So this time I decided to take the time to go through and make all these floss cards, which you can see I just write the DMC number and then I go look at the key to see like how much I think I need. Like I go by how many stitches there are, or they tell you like how many skeins, and sometimes there are fractions. So if it's like half a skein, I'll take 4 strands off of the master thing and cut them in half and put them on here, if that makes any sense. So there's a bunch of these, and I just used Cheez-It and fruit snack boxes. That's how I made these, if you're interested. So it took a while, but like having these available to flip through and grab instead of going through the master set, it makes it way easier. Okay, and then after that, so I worked on that for a little while, and I didn't really get into it like I did with absorbing the earth and sky. So this is when I decided to put my summer projects on a wheel and just spin it. And the first one that I spun was A Study in Pink by Artsy Housewife. And oh, I looked up the fabric for this. It is 40 count Oaken by Picture This Plus, and I am doing it 1/2 with some of my own colors that I picked. I don't know if I might be using some of the charted DMC and then some other stuff. I don't remember if I'm using some of the charted or I made it all up. But here's where I'm at. So I decided also that I don't like the flower border. So part of the work that I did was frogging out. I had, well, hopefully you're seeing a picture. I had like the first chunk of the border at the top, and I unpicked all that. And then I put in the body, and I pulled some of these colors down as well. So I worked on this for a day or two, I think. And now I feel like it will be easier to come back to this because I was not liking, I had chosen a Cottage Garden Threads green to do the leaves, and it was very stripy, and it didn't look, I just didn't like how it looked. So I'm just going to do only the moth or butterfly. I'm not sure which it is. Okay, so then I spun the wheel again, and I got 324 by Works by ABC. And I think I said last time that I started this with Abby of Top Knot Stitcher, and I think I said that she was doing 1 color a week, which is silly. It was 1 a day, I think, to try to get this done in less than a year. Oh, a little bird just flew into my door. It's a rainy day today, but I think the lighting is all right. It's like a little gentler. And there have been just so many house sparrows on my bird feeder. Like, I think all the babies have fledged from the nest, and they're all hanging out with mom and dad, and they're all like, there were a lot of them. Anyway, he's okay. He like just gently bounced and then landed on the trampoline that's out there. Okay, so anyway, 324. Let me put this up behind. So yeah, I did not stick very long with the 1 color a day sal, but I got this out, and hopefully you can see from the before picture that I added a full diagonal of colors. And this one I also did not kit up. I was going to use this project as an opportunity to organize my DMC, and then so I didn't kit it up. I wanted to like go through, and if I had things that were still in the skein, I was gonna put them onto a floss drop when I got to them. So basically I have to go pick out the colors from my master set to do these. So I picked out the 1 diagonal of colors and got those in, and then that was enough for me. This is on a 16 count Aida, just like ivory, I think, and all the called for DMC. So my next wheel spin was Put a Bird on It by Modern Folk Embroidery. I am doing this one on a mystery even weave, and I'm using silks that I had in stash. It is a mix of a few different types of silks, so some of them are 2/1 and some are, no, 2/2 and some are 1/2, depending on how thick the silk is. And here's how far I got. So I believe I know I was working with the dark green. So this motif is all new, this one. And I think this one had a few stitches left to finish it up. So yeah, I was just working with the 1 color. And I did notice that there are a couple of these lighter green stitches in here that I did not cross over on the top. So I'll have to go back and grab those. I think I frogged them in Pattern Keeper, so I'll remember to go back and get them. But this is very nice to work on. The fabric is like very soft and pliable, smooth, easy to work with, and then obviously the silk is super soft. So this feels really nice and buttery to work on. I like it. Okay, and then I spun the wheel again, and I got African Savannah Elephant, which is the one that I thought I was going to want to try to finish next. If you watched my last video, I said this one might be the next one that stays out until it's done. That did not happen. So here's how far I got. I got the trunk outlined, and I put in the spine of one of the like fronds that's coming down. And I think I worked in some of these other gray shades too, to start to get his eyes outlined, or her. I don't know if it's a he or a she. But the thing about this is a 32 count, I think, mystery linen, and it's not, I don't love how my stitches come out on it. It's not super even. It's a little bit hard to find where to put the needle through. And I'm doing it with 2 strands, and it ends up looking a little messy, or I have to like, I end up being like not even a half stitch off, just like I like to use a little size 28 sharp needle no matter what I'm stitching. And so maybe like a ballpoint needle would be better, ballpoint would be better for this, because in my mind it's similar to knitting. Like if you use a sharper needle when you're knitting, you're more likely to split the yarn. So a sharper needle makes you more likely to come through the fabric somewhere other than the hole that you're intended to go through. A bigger ball has to find a bigger opening to fit through, so you're more likely to go in the right place. So I did have someone send me a couple to try, and I have not tried them yet. So I need to figure out where I put those, and I might try that, because this, I was not enjoying the process of stitching on this. And like, I think my stitches look okay, but I just wasn't loving it. So I spun the wheel again, and the project that it chose was my 4 element stitch along by Satsuma Street. This is the first project during my wheel spinning adventure that I have really been vibing with. So I have been working on this for like a week every day. Well, hopefully I'm showing you what the pattern looks like and the before picture. I put up a poll on Instagram to ask what section I should go to next. So there's 4 elements, and I was finishing up water, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to save the sun fire section for last or do that next. So I put up a poll, and it was very close. There tons of people voted. Thank you for voting. And I ended up going with the earth side. It looks so good. I love this so much. I bought a kit for this, so I am using the kit Even Weave, which I think is a 28 count. And I'm using Cosmo Floss for the first time, 2/2. And it is going great. This, unlike that elephant, this is very nice to stitch on. My stitches are looking good. There's a good amount of like large swaths of the same color, so you can kind of get into a rhythm and get a bunch done. And so far I have completed several colors, which is very motivating for me. So I'm kind of choosing the colors in Pattern Keeper based on which ones I can finish. And I can't finish all the colors because sometimes like these pinks and yellows and oranges are used like by the sun or whatever. So sometimes they're not all the way done. But here are all the colors that are left. I just love this palette so much. And I made these little floss drops. And I was just realizing when I was working on this that I don't know what I'm going to do with these when I'm done, because I don't have any other Cosmo besides the ones for this kit, but there are quite a few colors. And I just made these floss drops out of an old calendar. Isn't he cute, little hedgehog? Unfortunately, the way the art was in the calendar, like I ended up having to chop through most of the most of the animals that I found because they were just like at the bottom of the page. But there's like some little birds. I just love these. Birds, flowers, little critters. There's a little bird nest. Anyway, so yeah, I was thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do with these Cosmo colors when I'm done. I guess they're probably going to stay on these floss drops that I made and just hang on their own little hook. And maybe I can try to remember to swap them in when I'm kitting things up. I don't know, but I do enjoy these. I don't think, besides the color, that there's any noticeable difference from like stitching with a DMC. And I think I'm going to keep working on this and see if I can get this earth section finished up. And maybe once I get that done, I'll decide if I want to keep going on this or switch to something different. So since I spun this on my wheel, the only other project that I have worked on is my full moon project. So the 29th was the buck moon, and me and some of my friends stitch on a Kathy Barrick chart with a moon in it every time there's a full moon this year. We did a Tiny Modernist chart last year called Moon Phase Bell Pull. This year we each chose our own Kathy Barrick chart. And I am doing 12 of the clock, which is not very big, but the sun and everything inside the main section of the house is over 1. So I wasn't really sure how long that would take. So this is my project, basically. I've been trying to get all of the over 2 stitching done first. So for the last few full moons of the year, I will be doing the over 1. I don't know if that was the best choice, but that's what I'm doing. And here's how far I am. I adore stitching on this. This is a mystery 28 count linen that's pretty like see-through. It's very nice to stitch on. I'm using the called for DMC shades. There are like 3 of those sort of yellowy brown colors, and you use them intermittently and it sort of makes it look like it's overdyed. And then this darkest blue, this is like 939, I think. That color is actually done. So the inside of this house is a little bit lighter shade of dark blue. I didn't even realize that looking at this. So I finished the dark blue. And I got like the chimneys and these little roof parts in. So yeah, I think there are some like bits through here that are still over 2, some like stripes across. And then the sun has some over 2 stitching, but most of it is over 1. So that will be what I tackle next full moon. I don't remember what the date is for the August full moon, but it'll be at the end of the month. So that is everything that I have worked on, stitch-wise. Obviously, I framed a bunch of things. I also, last night, so my kids are with their dad for this weekend, And I dropped them off at 5 last night, and then I went on an adventure to see how many Goodwill stores I could hit up before they all closed at 8. I made it to 3 and replenished my thrifted frames stash. I had used up basically all of my like 5x7, 6x8 size frames, and I still had some things left that needed frames. So I restocked, and hopefully I will be able to finish a few more things. I had mentioned in that video that I still have a stack of things, a stack of finishes that are not fully finished. And I asked if anyone would like to see a flip through. A couple people said yes. So I'm still debating if I want to just keep chipping away at those and frame them and show them to you when I do, or if I want to take the time to do a flip through. So that might be coming. I'm not sure yet. And then, okay, I'm going to talk to you now about my plans. So plan number 1, I already showed you this, is to get the August bouquet in here, which is tomatoes. Today's August 1st, so anytime now. But also today, I need to stitch the next section of my piece that I'm doing from this book, Magical Cross Stitch by Lindsay Swearingen, which is just called Wheel of the Year. And it looks like this. And the next celebration depicted on this happens today, August 1st. So it's this one with the mushrooms. And here's my piece. So I'm doing this on 28 count malachite by Fiber on a Whim. And I will stitch that little section in today. This one I also do not have kitted up, so each time I'm going to work on it, I just go grab the colors needed for the current section and get them done and put them away. So that I will be doing today. Also, on the 24th, I believe, the next section of the Snail's Hollow Stitch Along from the Stitch Crypt came out, and I have not stitched that yet. So I will show you where I'm at again. This has not changed since last time, but I do plan on doing the next section of this. I think I have till like August 7th or something until the piece after comes out, so I still have some time. And the next section is another, it comes like right here. It's like a mushroom buddy for this guy, I think. So it's bigger. It's a bigger piece, but it looks like more block stitching, so I hope it goes quick. And then it's August, so it is Animal Weirdos Sal time, which is hosted by Linguistic Stitches. And I am going to start Blueberry Harvest by Jet X Stitch with a friend. She is starting today, so I'm going to see if I can find a piece of fabric to put this on, because I do not have it kitted yet, and just see if I can get a few stitches in so I can start along with her for the Animal Weirdos Sal. And then I have a tale of woe. Not really. I tried to have a new start, and it was a fail, and I'm going to show you why. So the new start that I chose was a Carolyn Manning shooting star piece called Opal. I have had this chart for a while, and I finished Prairie Moon, and then I started my Carolyn Manning Bouquet All Day Stitch Along, no, Round Robin, where there were 2 groups of 4 of us. I was in both groups. So I was in 2 round robins with 4 people each, where we worked on the bouquet collection, and we each did a quadrant and passed it around. So now that I'm done with all of my stitching for those, technically, I decided I wanted to start another one of the Carolyn Manning shooting stars. So I decided to start Opal. I pulled all the colors, which look like this. And I had in my stash a tube of Charles Craft, like the ones that you can get at Michael's that are like multiple colors. So I'll show you. It's like this one, bluish, pinky, whatever. I don't remember what the name of it is, but it comes in a tube at Michael's. It says that it is 14 count, and it gives you the dimensions, and it should have given me about an inch border on each side, which I was fine with because I was planning to make this into a pillow. However, I started this in the middle, and I worked my way straight up to see if I would have room, and I did not. So first of all, this thing is cut a little bit crooked. And second of all, I measured it and it is absolutely not 14 count. It is like 13.5 count. So it's not as wide as it said, and the X's are bigger, so it just would not have fit. Like I would have been going off the edge. And part of the reason I went straight to the edge first is because one of my homies was working on one of these projects recently and had gotten a lot further than this and then realized that she didn't have enough room. So I wanted to check right away. And I'm glad I did. So I don't know if I'm gonna like do a little bit more of this and turn it into a bookmark, or if I'm gonna unpick this, or what I'm gonna do. As far as Charles Craft goes, and like Ada that's not actually overdyed, this was totally fine to work with. It's not super stiff. Like it's a little rough, but it's pliable to work with. It's not like crunchy necessarily. So I might frog this and try to put something else on it. I don't know. But anyway, that prompted me to do my first 1, 2, 3 stitch order in quite a while, maybe all year. I don't know. The first one at this new address since I moved at the end of March, at least, because they did not know my new address. So I got 2 pieces of fabric, and I would like to know which one you think would be better. So the first one is Picture This Plus Meditation. And I got a 16 count Ada. So this one is kind of similar to what I had, only a little bit less pink. It's more just purpley blue. Or Picture This Plus, also 16 count Ada. This one is Serene. So this one is just, and it doesn't really matter because this is full coverage. But if I have a little bit of a border, then it would show. And I did not want to stitch it on white because some of these colors are pretty light. So I wanted to do something where it wouldn't be super hard to see. Like some of these are really pale. So let me know what you think. Purple or like the minty blue. Okay. So I hope to start that one again on a piece of fabric it will actually fit on. And when I bought those 2 fabrics, there was a sale going on that week for Stacy Nash Patterns with Rabbits. So I got Nettle and Dr. Raven. I have not done any of these animal crackers before. I don't own any of them. So these are my first 2. And yeah, I don't have any plans to start them, but maybe when I get in the mood for Halloween stitching, I'll get one of these going. Okay, and then I need to talk about the pattern that I created. So in the house that I lived in before, so we bought the house when Reed was 2, I believe. Yeah, pretty sure Reed was 2. And Reed is now about to turn 14 later this month. So I lived in that house for quite a while. And in front of the neighborhood, there was a little pond. And on either side of the pond, there was a sign that said turtle crossing, which I thought was just like adorable when we first moved there, because I don't know that I had ever seen a turtle crossing sign before, at least not in like neighborhoods in Northern Illinois where I live. But we did definitely see a lot of turtles crossing back and forth. So our subdivision was kind of sat in like some marshland area. So they would go from one side of the street to the other, to the pond, and then back to the marshy area, depending on the season. So anyway, I decided one day that I wanted to make a little turtle crossing pattern because I'm always looking for patterns that have turtles. I love turtles, sea turtles and box turtles and, you know, whatever, snapping turtles. And there just aren't, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of cross stitch patterns with turtles. So I decided it would be cute as like a, you know, reminder of my years living in that neighborhood and a way to say like goodbye to that neighborhood, even though my kids still go there to see their dad all the time. But anyway, I just designed this little freebie. It's on my Ko-Fi shop. And I pulled out, I just have like a little scrap of, I don't know what this is. I think I charted it so that the background was like a sky blue in Max Stitch. But, you know, you can use whatever background you want. It doesn't use that many colors, so you could also change up your own colors. There's like a orange and yellow, a few greens, a brown, a gray. So here is what I have. This was like in a pile in my craft room, so I'm not sure if this is even all the colors, but I'm going to start this on, I think I'm going to start it on Reed's birthday, which is August 20th. So if you would like to join me, I'm going to start Turtle Crossing by me, available in my Ko-Fi shop, will be linked below, on August 20th. A couple people on Instagram said they'd like to join me, so that should give you plenty of time if you would also like to hop in. That's everything. That's all the stitching I had to show you. I'm remembering now that I did tell you that I have been knitting a little bit since you've seen me last, but I haven't touched any knitting. So I'm just going to leave the knitting alone until I start working on knitting again. And if I do work on knitting or crochet, I will share that as we go. Let me check my notes. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about? I don't think so. So I still have, I think I made it through about half of the summer themed whips that I showed last time. So it was nice to get a little bit of work in on those. I don't feel super committed to trying to work on all of them because this year is just not a normal year. So I usually sort of feel like I want to at least touch all my projects every year, but this year I feel like things have been different. I moved, my divorce was finalized, everything got flipped upside down. So I am just going to do what feels good. And right now I want to keep working on the 4 elements piece. So that is what I will do. And yeah, if I decide to throw things on a wheel and switch it up, maybe I will share that on Instagram, or I'll let you know here when I come back next time, which next time I film, my kids will be back in school. So they start on the 12th of August. And I would like to get into a routine where I can film my videos while they're at school. So I mentioned before, Reed is going to be a freshman in high school. Gray is going into 5th grade. Cole is still in preschool, and his school day is only about 2 hours long, and he does take the bus. So they come pick him up at my house and then drop him off. So I have like 2.5-ish hours to myself. So if I prepare the day before, I can film my video and probably get it edited while they're all at school. So I will have some weekday videos potentially. I'll switch from, I've done Saturday the last couple times. I'll switch to maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. Cole goes to school Monday through Thursday, so we'll see. My kids are getting older, but it still feels like every time we get into some routine, something changes. So kind of like when they're, infants, it still feels like that's happening. But yeah, everyone's doing well. I bought a bunch of school supplies. I'm excited for them to get back on a regular routine. Reed has band camp all day, Monday through Friday next week from like 8 to 5. So that's going to snap him back into a normal sleep schedule. He has been doing the teenager summertime thing where he stays up super late and sleeps in all day. So band is going to help him snap out of that. And yeah, I think that is all that I have. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I always sort of feel like that. So again, I wanted to say thank you for the warm welcome back to the Flosstube universe since I was missing for so long. I really appreciate every one of you who watches and comments and comes and finds me on Instagram. And yeah, I had a few people tell me like, don't feel pressure to make these videos. And I totally don't. Like, I just miss doing it. Like if this was just something I felt like I had to do, I don't think I would do it. I enjoy doing it. So it's nice to have the chance to be back and hopefully get back into a good routine and be able to connect with all of you. So yes, I appreciate you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're finding time to stitch or do whatever else it is that is making you happy. And yes, take care of yourself, and I hope to see you next time.